Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Obviously, one of the main topics in Call of Duty for some time now has been their servers and the lackluster performance of them. The servers in COD have felt very underwhelming for some time, and this obviously leads to bad connections in game. That's amplified even more by just how strict the skill-based matchmaking is in the game, of course. That leads to bad hit reg situations where your gunfights feel super inconsistent. Overall, it just deteriorates the overall experience for Call of Duty. And we've been asking them, please upgrade your servers, make some changes, do literally anything for some time. And we've never really gotten anything outside of various stability fixes in the patch notes, as I'm sure you know if you're an active viewer here on the channel. But lately, Microsoft had some reporting done on it. Most of it doesn't necessarily make Microsoft look that good, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel, at least for Call of Duty, based on some other information that was actually highlighted, if you will, because of these reports. But like I said, Microsoft hasn't really had a great go the past couple of days. They've been, talked about quite a bit in some not so great light. The first post that Charlie and ends up talking about here is kind of interesting, and it's almost showing that there is some backfiring going on in regards to Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard King. Charlie Intel says that the information, another news site, reports that several leading game developers, they don't list these game developers, but leading game developers, you can take your guess of who they might be, have turned down Microsoft's offers to put their games on Xbox Game Pass after Microsoft acquired Activision. So there is something going on here that the other leading game developers maybe aren't loving about how Microsoft and Activision are going about things, how that's been, approached so far. I do think this is an interesting thing to talk about, though, because obviously a big part of Microsoft acquiring Activision, and specifically Call of Duty here, is that Modern Warfare 3 was available on Game Pass, Black Ops 6 launched day one on Game Pass, and obviously that was huge for the game's numbers, of course. Also, though, there's a lot of hype about the potential for older Call of Duties to come to Game Pass, and that might help actually revive them, caused a bit of a player-based resurgence. We've talked about this before. Recently, on the Microsoft PC Store, there's been a bunch of new listings for Black Ops 2 and MW2 and Ghosts and Infinite Warfare and all the old COD games, right? Sort of hinting that maybe they're going to be coming to Game Pass at some point in the future. That is a big thing that's been highly talked about so far, but there must be something going on here that maybe the general public doesn't know that's going on, inside behind closed doors with game developers, and why there's been pushback from not just one, but several of them. This is developers as in plural, as to, why they don't want to do this. So this might actually be backfiring on Microsoft a bit. We'll have to see. Time is going to tell here, but certainly interesting nonetheless. More importantly, though, we've got this post from Charlie Intel reporting on the same information article talking about Microsoft and Activision and whatnot. And they say this, which I found to be particularly interesting. So Microsoft hoped that the Activision acquisition would attract more developers to use Microsoft's Azure servers for gaming, just more business for them, basically, through other companies also investing in their Azure servers and using those for their games. However, and this is what surprised me, Activision still uses the Google Cloud and Amazon Web Services for their servers and not Microsoft's Azure, even after the Microsoft acquisition. So Microsoft buys Activision out, says, hey, you're all ours now. We got all your titles, all your IPs, everything going on there. Same with Blizzard and King as well. You guys want to switch to our servers? And Activision's just like, nah, we're good. Why is that? Because, as I said at the start of the video, servers in Call of Duty, of course, Activision servers that they use through Google Cloud and Amazon Web Services, through Demonware, who they have managing all their servers, basically, they're not good. Straight up. We've talked about this a ton this year because it's maybe the most obvious, most apparent just how underwhelming the servers are for Call of Duty. But we've talked about this in previous years as well, desperately needing upgrades for the servers, for the tick rate, more data centers. There's issues where players simply can't find games. I know a lot of people in OCE just straight up can't matchmake unless it's a very, very specific time of day, and then they're on crazy high pings because there's not enough data centers to support that region. And then you have ranked play where queue times are insanely long because the player base is down, and the strict skill-based matchmaking means it has to be super specific criteria for you to get into a game. More data centers, more server points could also help out that as well. It's been an underwhelming thing this year. It's been an underwhelming thing for some time, and Call of Duty's, like I said at the start, never really actually addressed this. But the fact that they straight up didn't switch to Microsoft servers at the start, I think was noteworthy. That's something of interest for sure. It's like, why wouldn't they do that? However, It was then brought to my attention via some replies here that maybe this is actually coming. It actually seems more than likely a change could be coming here based off of this new information. So I ended up responding to this Charlie Intel post saying, you know, this wouldn't be weird. Like, it wouldn't necessarily be newsworthy if COD didn't switch their servers, if their servers were good and they felt consistent and they felt stable. But that's just not the case. They don't feel good. They don't feel consistent. They don't feel stable at all, right? So them not switching to something that could be much better for them and directly under Microsoft just seems rather strange. However, perhaps that's coming because Art is War ended up bringing this to the thread, saying Demonware actually had a job listing last month for someone to aid in a leadership role for migrating large systems to Azure. Now, Demonware, as I mentioned earlier, handles the Call of Duty servers. That's who it's been for some time as far as, my knowledge goes back. So if they're migrating their large systems to Azure, that would then indicate that perhaps Activision and Demonware and Call of Duty are working on switching over their servers. It's just not a night and day process. I mean, let's be real here. We know what happens with Call of Duty updates, right? They drop a small little patch, and because they fix this glitch, 3 or 4 other glitches spawn, right? Like every update is, we fixed this, but then we broke that, or this minor tweak ended up breaking this. Call of Duty is not necessarily a smooth game when it comes to changes, big or small, right? So you could certainly imagine the issues that could arise if they decided to just instantaneously migrate all of their servers to something else. It may go smoothly, but it also may be absolutely disastrous and cause the game to lose even more players because it just knocks everyone out for a day or so, or something massive ends up breaking. I'm not going to act like I am, super knowledgeable on the servers and on the back end and on the tech side of it. I'm very ignorant to that stuff, but just based off of what we do know about COD and how buggy and how problematic it is when those small things are happening, something as major as servers dropping could be significantly problematic, and more so than even what we see with bugs and glitches in game. Modern Warzone mentions this as well. Maybe this shows how much it might break the whole system for them to swap. But going back to Art is War statement here, I decided to search this up, see if I could actually find it, and while the job listing is no longer available, we do actually find that description if you just do a simple Google search. Hey everyone, if you're looking to start 2025 off right, look no further than Gamer Advantage. If you were looking at screens for long periods of time, whether you are gaming, creating content, doing school, work, whatever the case is, Gamer Advantage is truly a game changer. They've got prescription and regular lenses, a bunch of different frame options, so quite literally a style for everyone. And if you're looking at screens, experiencing eye strain, maybe you're getting some headaches, or you're just simply trying to sleep better at night, Gamer Advantage has you covered. Obviously, you guys always see me rocking my frames. I got the new Horizon 2.0s that I absolutely love, and these, I've said it before, I'll say it again, are the most essential part of my day-to-day setup. So if you ever want to get a pair for yourself, toss in code Immortal at checkout, and that'll save you some money. Link is down in the description below. So I just simply Googled Demonware migrating large systems to Azure to see if anything would show up, and initially the Google results won't really show you anything, but if you just specifically show the results with Demonware included in them, you get a different thing here. You actually see this position from Activision, expert platform engineer in Vancouver, British Columbia. And unfortunately, if you were to click on this, it's going to go through and actually say this job was filled if the page wants to load at some point here. So there you go. It says, we're sorry, the job you're trying to apply for has been filled. So somebody's already been hired at this position. But if we go back to this Google search here, the description still appears, obviously, in the metadata. Demonware's platform department focuses on a large-scale migration to Microsoft Azure and the development of our managed and scalable Kubernetes solution. I'm not sure what that is, but you can see this is actually a position to help migrate that stuff to Microsoft Azure. And then Demonware also has a similar job here, the principal software engineer, and you can even search even more for just straight up migrating, and you'll end up finding Reddit threads that say the same thing. Activision is apparently migrating Demonware. This may have already been done. It hasn't yet because this was a post from a few weeks ago over to Azure, though, because they saw that same job listing and everything, and then even Outscale shows this as well. So it does certainly seem like this is something that's in the process. It's just not an overnight type deal, and it's not going to happen, one day it's just entirely fixed and it one day it's just completely all over there. It's going to take some time potentially for them to get all that over, make sure it all runs smoothly, and then actually have it live. But a thing that we've been asking for some time does appear to be in the works, at least based off the context clues. Keep in mind, this is not them directly saying, hey, yes, we're upgrading our servers. This isn't Call of Duty just straight up coming out and saying that, or Activision straight out coming out and saying that. But based on the context clues that we have, it does seem like that is the situation that is unfolding currently. Hopefully that's good news going forward. Who knows how long this is going to take to happen? Obviously the sooner the better, but when it does happen, we don't want it to break the game because then that just defeats the whole purpose of it. But obviously, as we see any new information surface, anything official, any more leaks or rumors regarding this, I'll be keeping you guys in the know. So feel free to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date. And if you enjoyed this video, a like rating is always seriously appreciated as well. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.